Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this first episode in a series of episodes about resource farming. These resources are going to be tailored specifically for Eidolon hunting. So the main three resources that we use while Eidolon hunting are going to be Polymer Bundles, Nanospores, and Ferrite. Those are going to be used for energy pads and also ciphers. But again, if you're just a player who's sort of casually looking on how to get this resource, then hopefully this is going to be informative for you. So today we're going to be looking at Polymer Bundles, and if we just have a quick look at the builds here, I'll just run you through kind of the squad composition that you should be using, and we'll take a look at a solo farm as well. I should warn you that the solo farm is essentially a kind of rework of my Steel Path or Steel Essence farm, just on the tile set for Polymer Bundles. So if you haven't seen that video, do go back and have a look at it. It goes through the Necros build in detail there. And just lets you understand, how you can farm Steel Essence alongside other resources. A lot of people were asking me why I run Necros and not Loki or anything like that. It's because I can get resources alongside farming for Steel Essence. And if I can do that, then obviously I'm going to. So that's the reason. But we're just going to have a look through the builds here of all the frames that are going to be involved. So for this particular farm, and for all the farms we're going to be looking at, in fact, we're going to be using a Cora, 2 Necroses, and a Speed Nova. So for the Cora here, we're going to be running just a kind of a basic build here. You don't really need to worry too much about it, as long as you have a high level of strength here, or decently high. Your range needs to be between 100 and 130%, and you need to have a decent duration as well. We're going to be only using our 4th ability, essentially, just for Pilfering Strangledome, which is the mod that's going to allow us to get additional drops from enemies. Everything else is going to be tailored to utility. So we've got Enemy Sense, for example, Corrosive Projection, and then, Prime Flow. We're going to have 2 down at once. So Prime Flow is actually an important mod here, since it's going to allow us to cast 2 of our 4th ability, even with this low efficiency. And Arcane Energize is going to help us keep our energy pool up nice and high so that we can do that. If you do not have access to Arcane Energize, do not worry. You can use the Xenuric tree here to go through to do that, to do your energizing dash in order to keep your energy levels high. Everything else in this build is not important. We're not using it. So just from whatever you want. If you're leveling up gear, then maybe you want to stick something else on there. But as the Cora, you're not going to be doing that. It is also important to note that on Cora, you should be running a Magus Anomaly on your operator. This is going to allow you to pull enemies in extremely quickly. As you can see on Transference In, enemies within 25 meters are pulled towards Warframe. So essentially, if you were just to spam 5 or spam Transference, enemies are going to get sucked towards you. And when they die to your Strangledome, they're going to drop additional resources. Now, I would highly recommend making a macro for this, just so that you don't end up, A, getting a repetitive strain injury on your hand or your finger, or whatever you're using to tap your 5 key, and B, so that you don't have to buy a new keyboard every 2 months when you're spamming your keyboard so much. So do keep that in mind when you're doing this run. But yeah, that's essentially the Cora build, guys. So we'll just have a look at the other builds here. For Necros, I don't actually think I have a kind of lower level build here, but essentially all you need is a decent range. 100% is absolutely fine. A decent level of efficiency. Again, what's here is fine. Strength doesn't matter in this case, but I do have this on because this is my Steel Essence farming build, which we're going to be using for the solo run. So this is what is going to be essentially used for the solo farm. So do keep that in mind, that if you do want to do the solo farm, this is what you're going to be running. Everything else you can put Despoil on if you want, but you should be getting enough energy to keep up your energy supply anyway for Desecrate, which is what we're going to be using for additional resources here. But yeah, other than that, that's what we're going to be running. And then lastly, for our Speed Nova, we want as little strength as possible, so that, as you can see, slow -30%, we're speeding up enemies as much as possible. Everything else is utility based, again, and Arcane Energize on here. Not too much of an issue if you don't have it. So those are the frames that we're going to be running, guys. And like I said, in this video, we are going to be looking at Cora for Polymer Bundle farming. So for farming Polymer Bundles, you want to come onto Ophelia on Uranus over here. Now there's 2 different rooms that you can get on this map, and we're going to be covering both of them. One does provide a higher quantity of resources than the other, but I think, generally speaking, you want to just stick with whichever one you find first, since you don't really want to be hunting down the other one because you'll be wasting time at that point, and it's not technically resource efficient to do that. So take either one. There's about a 5 to 10% difference on the drop rate, and I'll explain that when we get into the video. But we'll cover both of them, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I'll see you guys in the group run now. Alright guys, so we're just going to go ahead and get a blessing off at the shrine here to get an extra drop chance booster. If you don't know how to do that, you just need to come to any dojo, come to the shrine in the middle, and yeah, just activate a resource drop chance blessing. If you are MR30, you're able to do this. If you're not MR30, perhaps see if someone you know is, and they can do it for you. So the first room we're going to look for here is dubbed Bunker. You know what it looks like? It looks a bit like this, and you want to come into this little room over here. And we're going to put our strangle domes down in this little corner and just start spamming transference to get our Magus anomaly pulling enemies in. You can see them dying over on the right there. They are also dying above us and also to the left. And our fetch is handily pulling in everything around us here. So this is the first room we're going to be looking at, and it is the lesser drop rate room. This is about a 10% less, 5 to 10% less drop rate in this room than the second room we're going to look at. But like I said before, if you do find this room early on, then it's probably not worth your time hunting out the other room. So do go ahead and just set up here. It definitely gives you a decent amount. As you can see, we're picking up quite a lot at the bottom of the screen there. But yeah, this is essentially going to be repetitive from now on. So we're just going to go ahead now and take a look at the second room. So this is the second room we're going to be looking at. This is dubbed Water Room, and now this room is a bit more complex in terms of where the room is that we're going to be farming in, but you will see in a second here that it is just over on this right hand side wall over here. So I've marked for my teammate to come over. He's just gone in and opened the door, but you'll see how to get in here in a second. We're going to backtrack this. So you go under the water. We do get a bit stuck here, I think, unfortunately, because it won't let me out of the water, but you know, you can just go into the water and come up anywhere. But it doesn't seem to want to let me out. But there you go. That's how you get in. You can just go underwater and then back up there. And we're going to be placing our strangle domes in the middle here. To begin with, I do place them slightly to the left, just so that we get a few early drops from the left-hand side, because that's where the enemies are spawning. But you'll see in a second here that we get these down. Like so. And now we're just going to spam our 5 here. So same as before. And we're just going to pull the enemies in. Unfortunately, in this run, I'm just doing a bit of testing, so I don't actually have my cat on, I don't believe. But yeah, we just want to spam 5 in this room, basically, and pull all the enemies towards us. So yeah, same tactic as before. This one yields quite a bit more, but we'll move on to the solo run now, guys. Alright guys, so this is one of the good tile sets you can get for farming Steel Essence. Let's not die here. And also Polymer Bundles. You get a really good spawn rate in this room, so-called the Ice Room. You get a lot of enemies around here, so do take advantage of that. But what I'm going to show you, similar to the Steel Essence farming guide on Annie, we're going to stack up all of our Steel Essence in one spot here so that it's out of the way, and we can continue to farm resources elsewhere. So one of the good things about this map is there are a number of locations where you can farm resources, and a lot of the time enemies won't actually spawn up there and sort of channel down. The Acolyte is going to spawn right here where waypoint 1 is, and we're going to be killing him from these little whatever they are. I'm not really sure what they are, but this is where we're going to be killing him from. Now it's important to note, like I said, that I've got a max rank fetch on at the moment, which is going to make things a bit tricky for us. But usually that Steel Essence would be well out of the way, and I wouldn't ever run into it. But what we're going to do, we're going to just keep going here, and I'll show you guys what happens when he spawns and how you can take him out. Like I said before, you want to get up onto these kind of little bulbs here that are coming out. They are actually quite difficult to get onto because they don't have a sort of a jagged edge that you can grab onto. So do bear that in mind. Give yourself plenty of time to get up there. They can sometimes be a bit of a tricky one to get onto. But yeah, we're just going to keep stacking it there. And we can farm elsewhere. If you are worried about picking it up there, do not fear. This map has plenty of little spots that you can go to, or this little tile set here has plenty of spots that you can go to continuously farm. One of them is up this little ramp on the side here. This is a really good spot for spawns right here. And you can make use of your Magus Anomaly and just draw all of the enemies in. If you've got another tile set adjacent, you can use that as well. But right now, we're getting an Acolyte spawn, so we're going to jump onto our little bulbs here, keep our buff up. And like that. So usually, like I said, with a rank 0 fetch, we wouldn't have to worry about that. But as you saw there, or you might have seen there, I was actually in pretty close proximity to that. So 15 meters is as close as I can get without picking it up. Or actually 16 meters is as close as I can get without picking it up, because at 15 meters it'll get sucked in. So if I was to go back up there now, I'd probably pick it up. In fact, let's just double check that fact. Oh no, we're still slightly out of range. So as you can see, it's fairly safe to keep them up there. But what we'll do, guys, just to kind of prove this works, I guess, we'll go ahead and do another Acolyte real quick. So I'll skip forward to that, and we'll see what happens. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, guys, so we've got our next Acolyte here. We're just going to jump onto our little... Oh, I've run out of shadows. This could be bad. There we go. I picked that up. It was too close. But again, if you did have a rank 0 fetch, you would quite come... That would have been out of range. Like you can see, the other one's still out of range. That was about 14 meters. And as rank 0 fetch would be about 8.5 meters or thereabouts. As you can see, we're picking up a decent amount of poly as well. But we'll get out now, guys. As you can see, yeah, this tactic does work on multiple maps for those of you who were curious. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and grab this and get out now, since it's just a little demonstration here. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this this episode. We'll be doing nano spores in next episode, so do stick around for that one. It's essentially the same as this one, although it does cover a different tactic for squad and solo. A different tile set, so we'll have a look at that. But for now, guys, yeah, hope you enjoyed. If you did, click like and subscribe. If you have any questions or you have any tactics of your own that you like to use to farm polymer bundles, do let me know down in the comment section. And yeah, have a nice day. I'll see you guys later.